Hello everyone. So welcome once again to this, well, it's a gathering more than a press conference. Essentially from the beginning, when UTV and myself took on this film to put in the theatres, we were very aware that this was a unique film and it needed unique new strategies, new avenues of promotion, new thoughts in terms of distribution. And our marketing plan right from the beginning was to, was completely different than what conventional films choose. We have entirely gone with digital and online promotions. And our idea was to use these networks to connect the film to what its real audience must be. We are hoping that this is the right way to do it, and from what we can tell from our reactions so far, it's been very successful, and the film has grown in its audience base through these networks. So one of the things that we thought about was, since we know that possibly our audience is connected to the net somewhere and has access to the internet, why not ask them if they would like to watch our film in their city? Because, as you know, one is, of course, art house film distribution is traditionally very small. And it is a much more difficult kind of film to put in theatres because we can never quite gauge, depending on the kind of film it is, what the numbers will be. How big or small a release should be. So we figured that, look, this is the kind of film that an audience should judge whether they want to watch and come back to us and tell us, look, we want to watch this film. Rather than try to kind of make it really broad and then find that actually we were completely wrong in our projection, or to limit it and be condescending and say, look, no, we only think that 5 big cities should have our film. We thought we should keep it open and let people decide whether they want to watch our film. So I think this is a really unique initiative. It's I think the first time anyone's doing it in this country, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the first of many times it's done, because we shouldn't presume that people outside big cities don't want to watch good cinema. So this is what we are calling the Vote for the Film in Your City campaign. And through this online initiative, you can, in a list of cities, vote for this film to be screened in your city. Now, it remains to be seen what those actual numbers are and whether we'll be able to do a full-fledged distribution model, which we do in other cities, which is, go to a multiplex and take it for the whole week, or whether we do certain single focused screenings for the people who want to watch it in their cities. So I think we should go through what this initiative looks like online. and then we can take more questions on what this idea is. Yeah, so this is what it'll look like. This is where you have to go and vote for the film in your city. And we're hoping that through blogs, through the internet media, and of course through our own pages, people will know about this, and we'll put the word out. And we'd like everybody to help put the word out, because I think this initiative really changes how audiences are now slowly getting integrated into this whole community of cinema, because ultimately filmmakers need to know that there are people out there who are watching films, and we need to demand the kind of films we want to watch. As an audience, we need to engage enough to, support and encourage the films that we would like to see in our cinemas, and not only, be passive sort of recipients of whatever's out there. So this sort of community building, we are hoping will grow, and this initiative can be done for other such films that need this kind of, encouragement and are small, and therefore will grow through audience participation. So I think, Anand, anything you'd like to say?
No, I'm just really excited that this is happening, and I've always felt that this film has been made with a spirit of that is being continued right now through distribution. So that's really beautiful for us. Community participation and audience guided distribution is something that I've been talking about, and it's really amazing that it's happening now through UTV, and and I'd just request everyone to really actively participate in this campaign, adopt it in a way to make sure that this reaches out to as many people as you can reach out to, because this is the only medium we have. So the only change we can hope to bring about in the way our culture is consumed and produced is beginning here, really, in a way. So I would really request each one of you to participate and really adopt this campaign.
Okay, I think we can take questions.
Yeah, so are there any questions?
A star?
Campaigner. It's a valid question. Having said that, this is the type of film that really you want the audience to come in to watch it because of the film that it is, rather than the people who are talking about it. Because you need to be prepared to come in for a certain type of experience. So tomorrow, if you have a star simply telling you to watch the film, if you have a star having watched the film saying, I really loved it and I want my audiences also to watch it, that's great. But a star campaigner just building off the image of a star and trying to associate that with a film, I don't quite think that's a route that we want to go down. We are having screenings for a lot of friends and colleagues in the industry, and if they like the film, then, we would be happy if they would speak about it and tweet about it and, spread the word. But to have one single star campaigner might really take away from the essence of what the movie is and become more associated with the image of that star, which is not something that we want.
The same, I agree. Sorry? Yes. I've spoken about this earlier. Amir has seen the film and he loves the film. He really, really loved the film.
Siddharth, the question is to you. UTV has always set a benchmark for marketing and distribution. What do you have to say about this initiative,
I think we're very, very excited about this initiative because, there have been so many similar films, maybe not, each film is unique in its own way, but there have been so many films that have released in the last, say, 5 years that could have benefited from an initiative of this sort because, frankly, as an industry, we have a one-size-fits-all approach. And because today you've got so many screens available, it becomes very tempting to go ahead and just release a film very widely. But that can actually work to the detriment of films of this kind. These films are films that need to be nurtured, need to be grown, and you need to really be able to reach out and go to those audiences who really want to watch your film and are specifically telling you that this is a film that they want to watch, rather than going as wide as we have been going in the past and then having lower capacities. And what happens then is that the film tends to be tagged, because then the occupancies tend to be very low. You still have the same number of people watching it as if you'd have released it very small. But then you've got low occupancies, the film is given a certain tag, and then it can never recover from that. So a film like this really needs the love and care and nurturing that we hope to be able to achieve with this sort of a release.
Was it language or the sensibility a sort of barrier that came across when you actually restricted your release to 5 cities for starters?
Firstly, I want to clarify that it's 5 cities only for starters. These are the 5 cities where we're definitely going to be releasing the film. But before the release, if any of those cities that we've put down here actually come to that 100% benchmark, and we're not going into the number they need to achieve for that 100%, it's much more about, we know what numbers we need in each city to be able to justify a release there. And they're not staggering numbers. We're trying to keep it as basic as possible so that even if there are a few hundred people in a city who want to watch the film, then they will get the opportunity to do so. But I think this really helps us be able to reach out to those audiences in each city who want to really watch the film and are telling us that they want to watch it. So I would say it's a combination of the sensibility of the film, the sort of film it is, the sort of audiences that we know would instinctively react to this film, and therefore we're adopting this approach.
So, there is some sort of monetary gain also that you guys would be looking out for. So when you are trying to route the promotions through online domain, did it ever occur to you that you could also simultaneously release the film online on a paper download model or something like that?
It's a great question. It's something that as an industry we are moving towards, and I think it's happening in the West as well. Unfortunately, the exhibition sector right now does believe that their revenues will be curtailed if you take a film online on the same day and date as it's released in theaters. And therefore, there is an embargo worldwide, and that's not just in India, on a film going on to any other non-theatrical platform simultaneously with a theatrical release. Having said that, I think most of us in the industry believe that audiences are different. It's not like just because it's available to watch online, someone's not going to go to the cinema if that's what they wanted to do anyway. But it's something that will evolve, and we'll have to just get to that stage at some point.
My question to Kiran is that Amir has always been credited to having done different work on par with the Homo sapiens connected to the film industry. And you are also almost the same. Usually, unlike poles attract. And to add to it, you have now got somebody like SRK, who also is always looking forward for different things. So do you think it is luck, destiny, and how does it benefit you?
I actually do believe that we make our own luck. I think, of course, all kinds of external things help us, but it's our decisions ultimately. Each of us is faced with a set of decisions that we make, and I'm hoping I've made a good decision by backing. In fact, I'm quite sure I've made a good decision in backing this film. Amir has always been supportive. Siddharth and UTV have been incredibly supportive and very much part of the team, and this film is a result of this collaboration between Anand, myself, and UTV. So I'm hoping luck will also help us, and so will our good decisions.
My question is to both Kiran and Siddharth. Did you try, during promotions or strategizing the whole thing, did you try simplifying, the film to make it a little more palatable to the general mass? Say, even for the poster for that matter, I don't want to offend anyone, but I did come across a few people who found it a little cryptic. So did you try to simplify, to make it a little more palatable?
No, actually, we were very conscious of not doing that. The reason being, this film was made with an incredible amount of integrity, and we don't want this, the audience to take away some sort of diluted version either in a poster or in the promotions, because that would set them up for something very different. I think that should be true of all films. It's certainly true of this, that we didn't want to suddenly make it more accessible than the film actually is. In being as honest as we could to the material, we were hoping that the audience, it helps an audience make a decision whether they really want to watch this film. It's not your, regular popcorn entertainer where you kind of go in and everything is sort of given to you on a platter. It's the kind of film that you do need to invest thought, invest your time, engage with the film, and it requires a certain amount of work on the part of an audience. And certainly we didn't want to give the audience any sort of different impression through either the poster or the promotion. So no, we were very conscious of completely representing the film as it is through our promotions.
Another question to Mr. Gandhi. There are a lot of films that make it to the theaters, which have done the rounds of a lot of film festivals, but not all generally turn out to be good. There might be obscure film festivals they may have gone to. So do you think, despite having gone to film festivals, a good film has to rely on a face value, for that sort of certainty for an audience?
I'm missing a bit of clarity in your question, because the first part of your question was to do with. So,
despite, I mean to clarify, despite doing the rounds of a lot of film festivals, does a good film still have to rely on a face value, that sort of stamp of assurance that this is a good film? Because now even the film festivals are becoming kind of misleading for the audience.
So a part of the first part of your question was that you found that a lot of films that had been to festivals were not necessarily as good as the promise of the festivals, and the second part of your question was, even if the film is indeed as it is recommended, does it still need the push of somebody who's more known to the audiences and to the community? Well, the first question, I would just say that festivals are just places where people gather and watch films. So at the end of the day, they're made by opinions of a few people in different parts of the world. There are all sorts of festivals. There are festivals that have been around for longer times than the others. And even after that, even after having been around for 3-4 decades, they still have their own paradigms. They still have their own idioms that they follow. So they can only kind of hint you. They can only suggest that a certain film might be worth watching. It's not necessarily that it'll fall true to the recommendation. So that's the first part of it. The second part of your question about whether a film in India at this point, I think it's partly true that at this point, even after the kind of content that the film has, it helps to have the vehicle. It helps to have the medium, the communication channel of someone who's already established a conversation, already established a dialogue with the community to take that film forward. So in this case, Kiran came on board and made it much easier for the film to reach out. So if that's your question, I feel that we're still kind of on we're still at a cusp of some sort. We're at the beginning of something. So and because we are at the beginning of something, people will not completely jump onto the new thing. It'll take some time for audiences who are now kind of warming up to the idea of cinema of a certain kind. For them, they'll need people they already trust, they've already invested in for the last few years, last few decades, to tell them that this is a direction that you could go in and taste it, sample this culture, sample this cultural product, and maybe you would like it. So I think that there is nothing wrong in that, and it's absolutely beautiful that Kiran is using that infrastructure for creating a channel like that, and others, I hope others will as well.
Another question to Kiran. Just wanted to know, you've recently, in an interview, you said you don't see yourself making masala entertainers, and you want to make your kind of film. So is there a definition that you can put to what you mean by my kind of films? What kind of films do you talk about?
Well, people always ask me this question and my answer ends up being misleading because the question is so general. But people, ask me whether I would see myself making, a big sort of mainstream commercial film. And actually, I don't want, primarily because I don't know how to write a film like that. And secondly, I suppose I'm sort of drawn to, I'm not particularly drawn to that genre of film. Personally, I'm not that excited about watching that sort of film, I suppose. And so end up not thinking of writing films like that. So I don't know. I've only made one film, and I genuinely don't know what my next film will be and what my kind of film is. But certainly it's the kind of film that I hope will provoke some thought, which will hopefully leave you with some images, some moments that you can take away. And films for me are they're a discovery for myself. I mean, I use them to plumb my own depths, whether it's writing or performance or anything else, to figure out what I can do and to actually have that wonderful collaborative experience that filmmaking is. So I don't have any one kind of film. I'm hoping that I'll be able to make films that interest people and interest me to begin with. And we'll see what that is as time goes by.
किरण, पिछली बार आपने कहा था कि आप अभी राइटिंग प्रोसेस में हैं डायरेक्शन स्क्रिप्ट लिखने में, पर कहीं पे हमने पढ़ा है कि आप किसी बुक की अडेप्टेशन पे फिल्म बनाने वाले, कितनी सच्चाई है इस पे?
वो एक्चुअली इंटरव्यूअर ने पूछा था, हैव यू रेड एनी बुक्स दैट यू लाइक एंड वुड लाइक टू अडेप्ट, और है एक किताब जो मुझे अच्छी लगी है लेकिन मैं अडेप्ट नहीं कर रही हूँ, ये उन्होंने नहीं लिखा. बहुत अच्छी किताब है, बट मैंने ऑप्शन ना की है और ना शायद करूँगी जब तक मुझे लगेगा कि मैं लिख पाऊँगी और उसे एक्चुअली सिनेमा का एक अलग ही, सिनेमा की लैंग्वेज अलग है, एवरीथिंग इज़ डिफरेंट. सो टू एक्चुअली अडेप्ट इट आई हैव टू रियली बी कॉन्फिडेंट कि मैं बुक का जो सुर है, जो एसेंस है, मैं फिल्म में ला पाऊँगी. तब तक मेरा कोई प्लान नहीं है टू अडेप्ट अ बुक. To Ship of Theseus? No, we don't have any strategy to attract masses. We don't have, our strategy is to attract people who would be interested in this kind of film. I don't know what it means to attract a mass. Our promotions are geared towards, representing the film authentically and as honest a way as possible. And so we have no particular strategy of, going out there and just grabbing eyeballs. That's not our plan.
I think, from the start, we've been very clear that this is a certain type of film and we should represent it correctly. Which is why you see that even in the trailer, we've not tried to make a trailer that's outside of the film, which is a metaphor for what the film actually is, or tried to shoot something else and make that the trailer. We wanted to represent the film exactly as it is. And yes, in the course of doing that, if we can simplify the communication, that is something that we would do, because we want people to understand the kind of film it is and not make it so abstract that they wouldn't get what they're coming in for. But having said that, we will never deviate from what the film really is, and we will always accurately represent that. And in this case particularly, I think your question quite specifically is, do we want to draw in a very broad-based sort of audience? We don't actually, because we do believe that this is a type of film that will reach out to a certain type of audience, and that's the audience that we would want, we would not want to misrepresent it to an audience that might not enjoy it.
Having said that, this campaign is exactly for that reason. Because you see, it's very easy for us to say mass and, how people say class and mass audience, which I find to be very strange definitions, which is why I'm saying we are not reaching out to a mass. We are reaching out to whoever the audience of this film is. I mean, I'm sure everybody believes that they are a class audience. So what is mass at the end of the day? If you enjoy a film like this, if you watch the trailer and you feel you want to come in and watch the film, we want all those people to come in and watch the film. So, this is one of the few films that is going much beyond what is, you know, what often people do is like say, only these cities have a class audience and therefore we should only release in these cities. But we are not doing that. The idea is that if you can vote wherever you are, does it just because you live in wherever a smaller city might be, doesn't mean you can't appreciate a film like this. So we don't want to presume that where you live determines how interested you would be in this film. And so this campaign is for that. So to answer your question, we have got promotional activities for audiences across the country. But they're very specific to this film, and we recommend that whoever, which is why on the vote for the film in your city page, you see the trailer. It's very important for you to watch the trailer and then decide whether you want to see the film. I mean, of course, you can see the poster and decide to watch the film, because I think the poster is just one of the most beautiful posters I've seen. So if you see the poster and want to come in, great. But importantly, we feel that our trailers have been cut and designed to make you understand the sort of film this is, and you know what kind of engagement it demands of you. And after that, if you would like to watch the film, we would like you to vote wherever you are.
Siddharth?
Well, actually, this was, I mean, it was very consciously done. I personally was very interested in the film. The film has already been produced. The film had already had a team that had worked on it. And I didn't want necessarily that Amir Khan Productions come and eat up Recycle Wala Films, which is a brand new production house, which I believe is going to show us great films in the future. So, you know, putting it under the umbrella of Amir Khan Productions would have changed the flavor of that, definitely. And for a second, Amir Khan Productions again is a big entity. We've produced films that of different kinds, and we felt that it wouldn't be fair to an audience or to Recycle Wala if it suddenly became one of Amir Khan Productions films. You know, the audience has certain expectations of Amir Khan Productions films, and you know, I'm sure Anand and his company would like the film to have that unique entity that they have created to and have started with this film, this new production house. So the idea was to be able to support the film personally, because I believe in the film, and I you know, I felt that was a better route than to, you know, sort of just absorb it into our production house. It would, I think, totally change the flavor of what Ship of Theseus is.
Siddharth, to your right. Yeah. As a studio, when you decide to invest in such a film, does the cushion of the financial success of a Race 2 and a Ye Jawani Diwani have any impact on your decision? Does it give you more confidence, or these are like two different sides of the business and two different decisions?
You know, from the start, we've always, you know, as a studio, made all kinds of movies. So from a Rowdy Rathod to a Barfi to a Pan Singh Tomar. So I don't think we've ever restricted ourselves in terms of genre, in terms of scale, in terms of star cast, in terms of budget. It's just if something interests us and we believe it'll have an audience, and of course will have a financial implication that is positive in the long run, it's something that we will get associated with. So we all watched the film, and we loved the film, and we said that this is a film that we really would like to come in and support in whichever way we could. So nothing else that we were doing had any standing or bearing on us deciding to do so.
But just to continue, but when you are like such a year where you had two really big hits, does that mean that you start looking at, you know, investing in more films like this, because you know that the bread is safe, that part of the business is safe, and you have much more breathing space? Like, does it change your thinking in any way that the extra dollars in the kitty to back?
Not really, you know. I mean, we've done a Rang De Basanti and a Khosla Ka Ghosla, or a Jodha Akbar and a Wednesday, or a Rajniti and Udan, all in the same year. And we've done them all with as much gusto and as much passion. And, you know, we will always continue to do so. So we don't really restrict ourselves in terms of the kind of cinema that we make in that sense. You tell me. I have no idea.
Rajesh, you had a question?
Kiran,
Sorry,
Can you give a face to your audience? I mean, in the sense that who would be your audience? Like sort of red, suburban areas, or major cities? How do you describe your audience? The audience for this film.
The audience of this film, most of them are right here. I mean, there's one sitting right behind you, Mihir. Then one after that, like Apan over there, he joined us because he was the audience of the film, because he loved the trailer of the film so much that he thought that this is the film that he wants to spend. Now he's our social media head. You know, we have had people joining us. You know, Kiran is the face of our film. She saw the film, she loved it, and she has come on board. Siddharth loved the film, and he has come on board. So he's the face of the film. So I think there is a really huge there's a really huge audience in India, and when we start talking about India, we are talking about 1/5 of human population. So we and to have an umbrella, you know, bracketing of this entire vastness would be little fallacious in any way. So even if you were to take about 3%, I'm throwing statistics. It can be done with better numbers, but I'm guessing this, and probably intuitively you would agree with me that if you were to take only 3% of our entire cinema watching audience, only 3% of our entire cinema watching audience can sustain the economics of cinema like this. So, which I believe, I mean, 3 to 5% would be at least the number if of our entire cinema watching audience would be interested in films that are that are working outside the paradigm of the existing mainstream paradigm, or that films that are made with an intention to ignite conversation, to ignite imagination, to ignite introspection, to ignite a collective dialogue. So I'm sure there is a really vast audience out there that also has not been catered to too often for a while. It's also been a while since that entire audience has been catered to by anything that has been produced locally in a way. There is a certain kind of cinema that has not been made. Even though there have been some interesting films in the last few years, this paradigm has been shifting slowly, of course, but there is still there's an entire huge vacuum. There's a huge hole within that, which is now beginning to kind of get filled. And there is an audience who has been there's a huge audience in India that has been consuming American television, American cinema, European television for such a long time, and kind of also hoping that an aesthetic that is essentially Indian. And what is that aesthetic is another question. But an aesthetic that is essentially Indian, a narrative that is essentially Indian, is not European, is not mainstream Bollywood either, but it's essentially Indian. It's telling the stories that are relevant to us in a way, with questions that are relevant to us, coming from our immediate geography, and still designed well, produced well, looking beautiful, etc. You know, it comes out of India. So I think that there is an audience out there, and this film is for all those people.
The question is to Gaurav. Gaurav, what is the distribution strategy and for such a niche film? And second thing is it going to be a multiplex release only, or it's going to be a single screen release as well?
See, we are starting from 5 cities. I think film is available to everyone. I think you can just choose wherever you want to see the film. I think we have not decided the cinemas. Even the cities, I think, by locations. So assuming we are going to Delhi city, I think probably geographically we like to cater to everyone. So I think probably 3 or 4 locations in Delhi or 3 or 4 locations in Bangalore. So the film is available to everyone. So can be multiplex, and in case there is no multiplex, is there a single screen which is available with one show in the morning or one show in the even night? I think we can pick up that based on the location. So
UA.